Okay, classmates. Now we will proceed with the DCS simulation training for atmospheric and vacuum distillation, commissioning of the atmospheric furnace and atmospheric tower. Based on the completed cold oil circulation, we will operate the atmospheric furnace system. In the field diagram, the atmospheric furnace flue gas waste heat recovery system. Open the 8 natural ventilation dampers A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Click the red button for ventilation. Open valve VSTAM1 to introduce atomizing steam. After purging the burners clean, close the VSTAM1 valve. In the atmospheric furnace field diagram DCS diagram, open the front valve of control valve PIC 1103 to 50% opening. Open the rear valve of control valve PIC 1103 to introduce high pressure gas. After the high pressure gas drum pressure stabilizes, open the pilot light gas valve UV110, then ignite. Adjust PIC 1402 opening to greater than 80%. Control the furnace negative pressure at 10 to 50 kilopascals. Open the front valve of control valve TIC 1108 to 50% opening. Open the rear valve of control valve TIC 1108. The furnace outlet temperature is controlled by the fuel quantity and furnace oxygen content. When fuel quantity increases, the furnace oxygen content will decrease accordingly. At this time, it is necessary to increase the air intake to raise the furnace oxygen content. Commissioning the waste heat recovery system. First, start the forced draft fan. When the furnace temperature TRC 108 exceeds 280 degrees Celsius, open control valve AIC 1401 to 20% to 30% opening. Open the forced draft fan inlet valve VIG 1001. Start the forced draft fan. Open the forced draft fan outlet valve VIG 1001. Control the furnace negative pressure at 20 to 50 kilopascals. Control the oxygen content at 5% to 7%. Gradually close the natural ventilation dampers. Start the induced draft fan. When the furnace temperature exceeds 300 degrees Celsius, adjust the furnace negative pressure control valve. Control the furnace negative pressure at 20 to 50 kilopascals. Open the induced draft fan front valve VIY 1001 and start the induced draft fan. Open the induced draft fan rear valve. Air preheater operation. Properly adjust the furnace negative pressure control valve. Maintain suitable negative pressure. During furnace ignition and heating, continuously pay attention to adjusting the gas feed rate and air supply. Excessive gas feed will cause the furnace air oxygen content to decrease. Excessive air supply will cause the furnace pressure to be too high. During the heating process, the gas feed rate and air supply should be adjusted slowly from small to large. Otherwise, it will be difficult to bring the furnace to normal operation. Commission the atmospheric furnace. Control the outlet temperature at around 320 degrees Celsius. Maintain furnace oxygen content at 5% to 7%. When the atmospheric furnace outlet temperature exceeds 100 degrees Celsius, open the atmospheric tower bottom stripping steam inlet valve FIC 1111. When the atmospheric tower top temperature TIC 1114 reaches 80 degrees Celsius, establish the atmospheric tower top reflux. In the atmospheric tower top reflux field diagram, open control valve FIC 1107 and set opening to 50%. Control the reflux flow and top temperature, then open pump P1004 front valve, start the pump, and open pump P1004 rear valve. At this time, strictly control the water level LIC 1107. Absolutely prevent water carryover in the reflux. When the reflux drum level is below 20%, open valve VID 1003 to borrow oil. Stop borrowing oil when the self-reflux is sufficient. Open the overhead gas pressure control valve PRC 1117 and the overhead reflux drum level control valve LIC 1106. When the level is around 50%, it can be switched to automatic. Open the side streams of atmospheric tower T1002 from top to bottom. Establish the atmospheric tower reflux. Start the overhead circulation process. Start P1005 and FIC 1008. First intermediate reflux process. Start pump P1007 and open FIC 1109. Second intermediate reflux process. Start pump P1009 and open FIC 1110. After the circulation is established, then begin product withdrawal. First side stream process. Open FIC 1113, LIC 1103, FIC 1113. Start pump P1006 and open FIC 1010. Second side stream process. FIC 1114, LIC 1104, FIC 1114, pump P1008 and FIC 1012. Third side stream process. Open FIC 1115, LIC 1105. Start pump P1010 and open FIC 1014. During the establishment of atmospheric tower reflux, strictly control all tower bottom level. Replenish oil as needed and properly adjust each control valve. Ensure all drum levels are not less than 5%. For the first side stream, open the stripping steam inlet valve FIC 1113. Then open control valve LIC 1103. When the upper section level of stripper T1003 reaches about 50%, start pump P1006. Then open control valve FIC 1010. The operation for the second and third side streams is the same as for the first side stream. For overhead circulation operation, adjusting control valve TIC 1115 and control valve FIC 1108 can regulate the atmospheric tower top pressure. Switch crude oil. After opening all side streams from top to bottom in T1002, start crude oil pump P1001. Open control valve FIC 1005 to route the atmospheric residue out of the unit. Okay, classmates. This practical training session ends here. I hope everyone will practice more after class. See you in the next class.